This is Mark with Aardvark Reloading. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to reloading primers as if you've never done so before. This has grown from a hobby of mine to a necessary skill set. With reloading primers, you have to sort them, clean them, remove the anvil, and tamp out that dimple. Then, just like reloading, you have to decide what powder to use. But I realize that's a lot of information to take in right out of the gate, so I'd like to introduce you to my first website called aardvarkreloading.com. And if you go to Aardvark Reloading, you'll see my home screen with a picture of some primers, and I'll mention this homemade primer course in a minute. It's a PDF document. This is the home screen. If you go to the Homemade Primers tab and just click on that, I'll give you a list of tutorials on how to reload primers. But the ones in green here are the ones I feel that you should get started with. And these are the four that I mentioned earlier. How to separate them and why, washing the primers up, anvil and dimple removal. And if you click on a tutorial, in this case anvil removal, I'll give you a tutorial on how I tackle that particular task. Once you're finished reviewing a tutorial, it's important that you know about these menus that exist to the right. These submenus can include corrections, updates, or in this case, it's other reloaders with their method of performing the same task. Tom used a padded mat and a shorter, sharp probe and rolled the anvils out. Pat looks like he used the same probe but a different set of pliers. Rob made good use of his drill press. And Terry made use of his ratchet extension and a 4 or a 4.5 millimeter socket. I'm going to assume that you've watched the 4 videos and are looking at a couple hundred clean primer cups and a pile of anvils. And similar to reloading, we're going to have to consider what powder we're going to use. Let me go back to the home screen for a moment. The tutorial that you're watching is actually under here, but you really can't talk about reloading primers without the name Marshall Thompson coming up in the conversation or referencing his document called the Homemade Primer Course. Once you open this document and begin browsing through it, you'll notice that there are dozens of recipes in which to choose from. One of the more important decisions to make about choosing a powder is whether it's corrosive or not to your barrel. Other things to consider are the cost of the materials and the availability of those ingredients. In the next couple of videos, I'm going to be talking primarily about 2 of the recipes, one being H48, which is corrosive to your barrel, but simple to make, easy to obtain, and the second one is called EPH20, which is non-corrosive. Let me show you a few other things where we're trying to help you. If you look at, well, let me go back to the document. Do you see where it's potassium chlorate, antimony sulfide, ground glass, and sulfur? This is the H48 recipe. If you go back to Aardvark Reloading, and I didn't have room for that particular recipe on this main screen or the home screen, so I placed that under More and H48. This will give you the recipe again, but not only what to buy, but where to buy it. So this is as the antimony sulfide, ground glass, sulfur. So if you click on sulfur, I'll bring you right to the website where all you have to do is add it to your cart. Let's see here. Sulfur, $3 a pound, and it's in stock. Hey, not bad. Other areas where I'm trying to make things easy click simple is if you need a primer tool, if you go to, again, Home and Primer Tools, if you need, let's say, a hole punch for punching out the paper disc that you need, you can go to Aardvark, Primer Tools, and here's a particular hole punch that I like. If you need to make an ingredient, such as with EPH 20, sometimes you will need lab equipment, and I'll give that to you here under EPH 20. If you need some beakers, here's a set from Amazon for $21. Okay, and it looks like these are also in stock, so that's good news. Let me tell you about one more website, and that is a MeWe group called Primer Reloading, and I'll leave a clickable link in the description down below, and it's where you can find any tech support that you need for any primer questions that you have. If you want to direct a question directly toward me, just say @MarkWilson and type in your question and send it, and hopefully I'll get it within a few moments and respond to you. You can even post your chemistry questions directly to Marshall himself, or we have some other qualified individuals that can help you there. Reloading primers is a 100% hands-on undertaking. There is one ingredient that I haven't included, and that's elbow grease. You're going to have to provide that. This is Mark on aardvarkreloading.com. If you have the financial means, donations on Patreon would be appreciated, but not required. Details below. And if you have technical questions, please join me at the MeWe group called Primer Reloading. Hope to see you there.